Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you're in Europe, the more perceptive of you might have realised that it's a little bit hot out there. And if you haven't, I wouldn't worry about it because someone in the media is bound to tell you eventually. In a website, in a link that I never actually thought I'd ever have to pull up, I give you the weather forecast, in which, as you can see here, it's over 30 out today. In London, and if I scroll down, you've got a nice little map of the fact that in places such as Essex and Kent and London, yep, it's all over 30 degrees, and all the way to the west as well. So yeah, it's pretty hot out there. It's pretty hot, and that's terrible for me because, on a personal note, I'm one of those types of people that will get round to winter and it'll be terribly, terribly cold and miserable and rainy, and I'll say to myself, oh, I hate it. I'll never complain when summer comes around again. And then when summer finally does come around again, I go, oh, it's so hot and I'm so sweaty. I promise I'll never complain when it gets to winter again. And you have this Ouroboros of Englishness where I constantly just whine and moan about the weather, which is part of the national character, and I really can't help myself. I feel like I'm genetically destined to engage in such things. But obviously, it's not just England as well. Europe's heatwave in pictures, as Politico wants you to know. And my goodness, just look at Paris. I mean, doesn't the Eiffel Tower just look like a big steel French candle ready to have a light just set on top of it so it can melt away in the intense heat? Right, so obviously this is not. This is something that's been going on for years now. You get all of these maps of Britain and of other countries like Germany and France, and you'll get these bright red warnings, you know, to signal to your brain that this is dangerous, that you should be scared to go outside, and that ultimately there's nothing you can do apart from submit to the government advice on how to survive the unrelenting onslaught of the sun. And this is, with this in mind, we have the Liberal Democrats calling for a COBRA meeting as Britain braces for a second heat wave. Okay, so it says the Liberal Democrats are calling on the government to hold an urgent COBRA meeting on this week's soaring temperatures. And so basically there needs to be some grand plan, some grand government strategy with how to deal with this scorched earth that is clearly, you know, unfolding before our eyes here in England. And just to put things into perspective for you, when we talk about COBRA meetings and some of the examples of things that have happened, I know that nothing ever happens, but once upon a time, things happened, and they called COBRA meetings as a reaction to them. So you can see that the first one here was back in 1972 in response to a miners' strike. And you also have other examples of the 1980 Iranian embassy siege and 9/11. And the Liberal Democrats are saying, God, and we think we need one as well when the temperature gets over 30. It's just absolutely insane. It's madness. I don't know what. I mean, they talk about the fact that, you know, people, it's very hot, it can affect the elderly, it can affect children, and it can affect the farmland. This is true. However, for the farmland, we have this ingenious piece of technology known as sprinklers, right? And you can actually water the fields at will as you want in order to help cool them. For the children, we have this amazing innovation known as sun cream, okay, which helps to protect them from the sun. And for the elderly, who admittedly may not want to go outside, we also have these things known as fans. And in fact, we have one of them in the office right now. You might have noticed as well that I've taken my own personal precaution in all of this and opted not to wear a jacket for this particular segment, just to slightly increase my own chances of survival on this day of around 30 degrees. But of course, the grandest piece of advice comes from the Lib Dem leader himself, Ed Davey, because he's a fan of water parks. And so that's what I recommend. I recommend that you go out, take your family, take your loved ones, take your girlfriend, take your friends, go and have a really social summer. Go out, beat the heat, ignore all the doomers who are saying that Britain is going to be scorched earth, right? The Lib Dems, and just go and take the example of their leader. Go and enjoy a grand day out at the water parks and just engage in all of the obvious common sense ways to just get through a very hot summer. It's not my favorite season, if I'm honest with you. I much prefer spring and autumn. Those are my personal favorites. But yeah, I just find this entire thing absolutely comical, and I just had to comment on it. The idea that we would have like an emergency cabinet meeting for how to coordinate our plan of action against a season, against an actual season that comes round every single year. I actually remember as a child it pushing over 30 as well. Right, this is not uncharted territory for us. As gloomy as Britain is depicted, we have dealt with temperatures beyond 30 before, and we will do again. Although, if it's starting to look like France, then maybe Big Ben will be a big melted block by the end of this as well. So let's hope that doesn't happen.